Hey guys, welcome back if you're new here. My name is Courtney and I'm a homeschooling mom to two boys. I have a 5-year-old and I have a almost 3-year-old, a couple months. It's hard to believe. So in this video today, as the title says, I'm going to talk about my choices for my son who's getting ready to go into kindergarten, which is also hard to believe. This is going to be the video on his reading program that I chose, as well as like his language arts and his phonetic work. Okay, so it should be no surprise that the reading program I chose to go for with my son for his kindergarten year is going to be all about reading, and it's going to be level 1. Really not that big of a shock if you've been around our channel. For his pre-kinder year last year, we worked through all about reading, pre-reading, and we absolutely loved it. It was definitely what he needed. I thought, oh, it's going to be a little bit slow because prior to that, for his preschool year, I'll say that very lightly, we worked through the letters and the alphabet. And so going into the pre-kinder year, which we will be done with in like 2 weeks, it was definitely like, I could tell my son is ready to move on, but I think it helped him cement that foundation he needed in order to progress on to all about reading level 1. Again, I don't think this is like a hard fast rule that this is going to be for kindergarten for everyone. I've seen people who are in first grade using this. So again, I wanted to make sure that he was ready because I knew he knew his letters and he did know the letter sounds, but a little bit quicker for understanding what the letter looks like, but also what does the letter sound like. And all about reading, pre-reading gave us that foundation. So we are absolutely ready to go into level 1, and I know he's so excited, and we're just going to take our time through it. Again, he's in kindergarten, but I can tell he's ready to read, and so we will just take it at our own pace, and I will start out following the teacher's guide, and we'll just see, is it going too fast, is it too advanced, and if it is, we'll just kind of slow down. We are in no rush, but this is definitely the next step. So I bought level 1. I actually bought this, it might have been last summer when they were having a sale. It's very rare that this company runs sales, and so when they did, I bought it because I knew I was going to love all about reading, pre-reading, and I knew that I was probably going to want to do all about reading level 1. And so it is a little bit pricey. You don't have to buy every single thing that they have when you go to All About Reading's website and then you click on the level that you need. You don't need everything. They're very good about telling you this is what you can buy, or this is what you should buy, like what is needed for the program, and then there's a bunch of optional things, and I will kind of walk you through that in just a second. I will go ahead and show you what I bought. And so obviously what I was holding up is the teacher's manual. It is a multi-sensory program, step-by-step lesson plans, teaching all the key reading skills, mastery-based and customizable. And so this program is very thorough. The All About Reading, they tell you exactly what you're going to do every day. They are going to tell you what to say. I mean, they really are going to hold your hand. And so this is, I think, tends to be an area that a lot of homeschool mamas are nervous about, or homeschool dads are nervous about, because teaching your child to read is foundational to everything. And being able to read is also a huge milestone for your child as well as for you. And I think that All About Reading is the program that is going to start it off right from the beginning, and they're going to give you that great foundation for your children to hopefully not only know how to read but to create a love of reading. So we'll film a walkthrough or a flip through this. There are a ton of YouTubers who have done that, so I don't want to like flip through it right now in case you just want to know what I chose for kindergarten, but I will film a little flip through, and hopefully that'll be up soon for you guys to see if it's not already up already. And I will kind of flip through the teacher guide as well as the other stuff, but just so you know, you've got a lot of instruction in the beginning on how the program works. Unlike All About Reading, pre-reading, your teacher guide is colored, which is, I think it's nice. It adds a little bit that it's not just black and white. And they have this really great page right here, which is going to tell you how much time should I spend on reading. And so they say you're going to spend 20 minutes per day teaching reading. They do say 5 days a week, and I know a lot of homeschool families, myself included, we do 4 days a week, and we also do a Sabbath type of schedule. So just kind of, again, know that. And number 2, they say, like, when you've done 20 minutes, you stop. And so reading can become a struggle for a lot of kids, and when it becomes a struggle, then they're going to push back and they're not going to want to do it. So All About Reading's approach is setting a timer for 20 minutes, do the lesson as much as you get through, and then whatever you don't get through, you're going to do it the next day, okay? And then, like they said, your lessons often will take more than one day, and they do make that clear, so you're not stressed like we never get through an entire lesson. They also say that they would like you to read with your child for 20 minutes, and I would say All About Reading pre-reading, we definitely did not take 20 minutes a day. Again, I think it was supposed to be a little bit different because it was just like an introductory. It wasn't like an actual level, but we also weren't doing the crafts because my son, like, he already knew his letters, so it wasn't like this official introduction. So that was one thing we didn't do. But I think the pre-reading was also designed for that, and then of course it was designed that you would read with your child for 20 minutes. If you don't know, Sunlight is what we did for pre-kinder, and so it's a literature-based curriculum, so we had no problem meeting that 20 minutes a day. And so if you're a family that struggles to meet that 20-minute requirement or suggestion, then just try breaking it up throughout the day. Maybe when your kids are eating, that's a great time, or even like right after dinner. If your kids aren't super fidgety after dinner, sometimes my kids are, that tends to be a really good time to read with your kids. Or before bed, when most kids are like trying to do everything they can to avoid going to bed. Or we love doing it before rest time. My kids have always had a rest time or a nap time, and so that's always been our time where we do our curriculum reading. And so again, just so you know, that's kind of how their daily rhythm goes. And so if you are interested in looking more in detail into the lessons, like I said, I will film a flip through of this. But that is the reading program we are going to do for my son's kindergarten year. When I was on their website, like I said, last summer, I bought the teacher's guide. You're gonna need that. And then I also bought the activity book. Okay, and so with the pre-reading, it also had a teacher's guide and it had a activity book. And so this big blue is the kids' activity book. I still have it shrink wrapped just because I don't want all the pieces to go missing. When I do start prepping for our kindergarten year, I will probably film a video of me prepping All About Reading Level 1, and you guys can see me open this up. And well, I probably will do this for the flip through and kind of show you it, but if I do actually film a prep of this video, then you can see me kind of cut apart all the, or rip, I can't remember if they're rip or cut the cards apart. So that's what the green and the yellow are, is those are going to be the cards that you're going to have with All About Reading. And so it says that there's the activity book, there's phonogram cards and word cards, and then there's also a viewfinder right there, and then you do get the stickers. And so this helps your children to visually see their progress on a sheet of paper when they get the lessons done, and just kind of putting that sticker of completion. It's a little thing, but it is kind of that reward for your children to see, like, hey, maybe I'm struggling, or maybe it's taken me a while, but I am seeing the progress. And of course at the end of the year, that'll be really exciting for them to see. I went ahead and I did order the letter tiles, and so these I will have to break apart, but they are for all levels, and they include the prefixes and the suffixes and Greek and Latin word parts. That also has tokens in here, syllable tags, magnets, and 2 zip storage bags. And it says that this is to be used with All About Reading Level 1 and All About Spelling Level 1, as you can see down there at the bottom. Now, if I remember correctly, you either can choose the letter tiles or you can choose to do the tablet version. And I know it was like $19.99. I don't know if that's like a subscription or like you pay that with every level. I have no idea. I decided to go with this. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, I don't want to lose all those tiles and everything like that, and that's a lot of prep work. It's totally up to you, and it's your decision. I just went ahead and did this because my kids are very hands-on. I'm not completely anti-screens, but if I can limit screen time, I will. Now, if my kids get tired of this, maybe say going into level 2 or level 3 or whatever, then maybe I will switch over and do the tablet version. So comment down below. Let me know if you do All About Reading, which one does your family prefer, pros and cons. So for now, I went ahead and did just the paper letter tiles. Okay, and then you also get 3 readers. And what's great about these is they're color now. So with All About Reading pre-reading, at the time that I had bought them, I don't know if they plan on making them color, but they were black and white books. I didn't have an issue with them. My kids didn't have an issue with them. They were short and fun enough little stories and poems that it kept their attention. But these are obviously going to be nice because your children are going to be actually, or your child, I don't know why I keep saying children, but your child is actually going to be the one reading these. And so it's nice that it has colorful images, as you can see. Very, very fun, very simple, and the illustrations are actually really well done. So you have 3 of these. This one is, as you can see down here, level 1, volume 1, and then we have level 1, volume 2, and then you also have level 1, volume 3 as your child progresses. And so I am very excited for these. I know my son will be very excited for these. I will say that we do have some other beginning reader type of books, particularly the decodable books, not like your step into reading level 1 or whatever like that. So just kind of know, I know it won't mesh entirely with the curriculum, but as I see my son progress, I do have decodable books. I'll try to put the ones I have up here because I don't have them with me, but I did buy level 1 of the Bob books, so those should be relatively close to being able to be introduced at some point during this curriculum, just as extra practice. I will incorporate those. And then the other one is, I'm trying to think what they're called. I'll just have to put the picture. Again, they're decodable. So a lot of times those step into reading, or or whatever they're called, those quote beginner readers, a lot of those actually have words that your child is supposed to know, and they're not decodable. So they're more based on sight words, not all of them, but many of them. And so if you're looking for beginner books for your child, especially when you're like, oh, my son's gonna start reading, instead of him continually reading the same book over and over, it is nice to get extra readers. And so, but the key is you want to get them ones that are similar to what they're working on. And at this point, which we haven't done the program yet, but I'm assuming in the beginning it's going to be words that he can decode based on the phonetic sound. And so just kind of keep an eye on that. And like I said, I can kind of do an update later on to let you know how I'm embedding those in there. I am also going to be looking into the Moffat Girls curriculum. She has emergent readers that you can buy, and then you can print those off. And again, I'll just have to see how those are, how those are staged according to All About Reading. This is our reading program, so I don't want to get him overwhelmed by introducing other stuff. But I do just want to let you guys know that yes, I do plan on incorporating some of those if we get to the point where he's making progress with the All About Reading books. I want to be able to have some extras he can read. Okay, and then I do have one more that I'll tell you about, and we'll get to that in just a second when I talk about the language arts curriculum. Okay, so the last thing for his phonetic work is that I do plan on doing is Explode the Code. And I bought this through Sunlight because I ordered some curriculum through Sunlight. And so I went ahead and bought this. This is Explode the Code. It is level 1. I believe they have a level 1.5 if my son needs more practice throughout the year, or if he goes through this really fast, we can do the level 1.5. And then it gets into level 2, and I believe that's when it gets into starts getting into blend, things like that. And so you can see it on the back, the different levels that they have. But like I said, I'm pretty sure they have a 1.5 just in case your child needs a little bit more practice. So this is going to be Essential Lessons for Phonics Mastery. We did the beginning series of Explode the Code, and it was A, B, and C. And so it was get ready for the code, go for the code, get set for the code, or something like that. And so those are a really good 3-part introduction to Explode the Code, especially if your child is learning their letters with the letter sound, but maybe they're not quite ready to, this type of level. Then that would be really good. So look forward to a video. I will do a flip through of Explode the Code, and I will probably also compare it to the 3-part beginning series of the ABC, get ready, get set, and go for the code, because I know when I first got into this, I was so like, which one do I do? And I'm glad we started with that 3-part series before jumping into this, but I think he'll be ready for this. This will give us just a little bit extra phonetic help. It has about 8 to 9 pages for a lesson, and it has, let's see, 11 lessons. And so I will go ahead and just show you the table of contents so you guys can kind of see, and you can kind of pause it if you want. But really, really pretty simple, really easy. I think this will mesh really well with our All About Reading. And just look forward to like my Q1 or my mid-year update, and I can kind of tell you where we're at with Explode the Code. Is it too advanced? Is it not advanced enough? Is he blowing through it? You know, and where are we gonna go with that? Or maybe it didn't work at all and we just stopped, because there's no shame in that. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to mention is, as far as my son's language art program, we are, like I said, really focusing on the reading and the phonetic component of the letters. That's really my goal right now. Okay, but I do want to incorporate a little bit of language arts. I'm just not sure how. Okay, and so I have 2 programs, and I don't have them with me, but I will put them up here. So I printed off the Good and the Beautiful Language Arts K, and that is a free download and a free print. It is a lot to print. I have not finished printing it all, and I've bound it in, like, I'm thinking 3 or 4 sections, and so it's a little bit overwhelming. And so I plan to look through that and kind of see what they're going to do. Obviously they're going to incorporate letters and the phonetic sounds and working on kind of reading and stuff, and I don't really want to get into that because I don't want him to get confused with 2 different programs and how they're teaching. Okay, I have heard people who use the language art, the Good and the Beautiful K, I'm speaking with broad brushes, have said that it wasn't the best for learning to read. Okay, broad brushes. Comment down below if otherwise it's been great and your child has learned and thrived off of it. That's great. I love it because it's free. And what I plan on doing is, if there are certain areas in this language art curriculum that I'm like, I would love for my son to have some exposure to this, not necessarily the reading, but any other language art components, then I plan to introduce those. And again, maybe like once a week, just kind of incorporating some of this. And if I say no, it's too much, I don't like it, then we won't. Okay, so I just wanted to throw that out, that I do have that. Now the other thing I have is for my son's pre-kinder package that we are almost done with, that I ordered. We got the kindergarten language arts because I had included that I wanted readers, and so it included a language art program for his pre-kinder year. Obviously he was not ready for that. We started it and it was way too much, and so when you get into the Sunlight kindergarten package, which is what I just ordered, it does come with the kindergarten language art option, and so I already have that. And so since Sunlight is like, hey, your child needs a language art program by now, because we need to start getting them to get into the program of reading, they threw that and they're like, yes, you do need this. And I was like, okay, well great, I already have it. So I am also looking into seeing how that is. I actually did enjoy it when we started doing it. Again, it has a heavy literature component to it. It has a lot of, and again, what I've heard with Sunlight is you either like the way they do language arts or you don't. And so, like I said, we enjoyed it. It had some handwriting. It had some, a lot of storytelling. It had different experiences involved in it as well, like going to the library for story time, or reading a story and then your son telling it back to you, or your daughter telling it back to you, or like giving your child some like hints or some ideas and then saying, can you tell me a story about this? And so we really actually enjoyed that, kind of that imaginative, but it had just several different components. And so that's the other thing, is I was going to look over that since I already own it and just seeing if we want to add that in. Now that combined with All About Reading is going to be way too much. So again, I don't want to mix programs wherein I'm trying to get him to learn how to read. So how I would deal with Sunlight's language art program that I already own is I would just kind of pick and choose, is there some lessons? Now obviously, hopefully everyone can agree that dealing with this, scheduling this out, and then every week also looking over the Good and the Beautiful, as well as Sunlight's language art program is just going to be so overwhelming, and I would assume most people would give up, so myself included. So when I go into prep for my kindergarten year, I have my ideas. I just need to now review what the lessons have, what are we looking at, what should I take out, what do I like, what is beneficial for him, and just kind of prep that beforehand before going in. So every week I'm not, you know, spending an hour trying to figure out what am I going to do this week and next week. So I wanted to throw it out there in case anyone's like, what are you doing for language arts? Again, our priority is going to be reading, and All About Reading is a wonderful program, but I do already have the Sunlight K language arts. So I want to incorporate it if I can. I don't want to be pressured to do it, but if I can, I will include it. And then, like I said, The Good and the Beautiful, it was a free download. Thank you guys. But it also is, you know, was I could print it, and I did start printing it. And so if I'm able to incorporate any of the activities or the hands-on or the imaginative, we will. So again, look forward to that mid-year update or my quarter 1 update coming for our kindergarten year, and you guys will know how I kind of incorporate it. So that is what we're doing for my kindergartner. It's so crazy to say. My son's kindergarten year for his language arts / reading / phonics work. Go ahead and comment down below. Let me know if you guys have done any of these programs and if you enjoyed them or not. I want the honest truth. Also, comment down below what you guys ended up doing for your kindergartners year, or what you're planning on doing for your kindergarten years year. Okay, I'll catch you in the next video. Bye guys.